Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Gurudeva ki jai, Shri Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Samasta Rupanu Gauri Guru Bhar ki jai, Shri Shradhara Manju ki jai, Lita Vishakasta Sagi Brinda ki jai, Ruparati Manjari Adi Manjari Brinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Pramanandi, Hari 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 Bo. So reading from our Shri Guru Darshan. Many kinds of darshan are there, according to our qualification and eligibility. We're praying for the highest darshan, as it is, not according to our level, according to Guru's level. When Krishna entered the arena of Kamsa, 12 kinds of people saw him in 12 different ways. But what is Krishna in his highest aspect? The warrior saw him as a thunderbolt. Some saw him as an enemy. Some saw him in this way or that way. But who is Krishna? Who is Krishna himself? How does Srimati Radhika see Krishna? This is a big difference. What is the eternal relationship between the Supreme Lord and his associates? In this world, conditioned souls, they all conceive of God in different ways. Their conception is not eternal or pure conception. Pure conception or eternal conception is once you have pure realization and relation. So how do we understand Guru? We have to hear from those who really know and have the highest darshan. So therefore we're going to read a little bit about, just a glimpse, an indication about Srila Gurudev's eternal nature, eternal darshan, Swarup darshan, highest soul connection to Sri Radha and Krishna. In this world, we're all absorbed in varieties of activities because we have forgotten or turned away from Krishna. So we're engaged in so many activities. If we realize our Swarup, then all those activities stop. We engage in our real activity of the soul. In the meantime, we have our duties to perform as a sadhaka, practitioner. But truly, once you enter that realm of the spirit, you don't want to do anything but engage in service and loving relationship in that world. That's the purpose of our chanting, the purpose of our chanting of mantras. In the story of Gopakumar and Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Gopakumar took up so many responsibilities, traveled here and there, took up this post and position, king of this country or that country, king of heaven, position of Brahma. Everywhere he went, he did his responsibilities very nicely, but when he got distracted and didn't chant his mantras nicely or his sadhana, his guru would come back and say, why are you doing all these things if you don't perform your soul responsibility? There are so many duties in life, but what is our duty to our soul? And realizing our relationship with God. And so, when we are bound to the material conception of life, we think we have so many duties and responsibilities. But when we understand our real duty and responsibility, we understand that we should chant Harinam, perform bhajan, and simply maintain our lives without too much material ambition. Whatever is Guru Seva, we have that ambition. How to please Guru. If he wants us to work 24 hours a day, we work 24 hours a day. If he wants us to work 8 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day, nothing at all. If he says just sit and chant 3 lakhs Harinam a day. Right? Haridas Thakur gave that instruction to his disciple, who? Prostitute lady who tried to drag him down. He said, oh, here's the ashram. Chant 3 lakhs a day. Don't worry about your maintenance. People will come from all over to worship you, to give you donations. Whatever they give away. And whatever you need to maintain your life, offer and just take what you need enough to maintain your life. So we're trying to develop that eligibility that we can engage in the service of God 24 hours a day. Service of God 24 hours a day cannot be done with the physical body. And 24 hours a day cannot even be done by all the rasas. You can mentally think of Krishna, But actual service of Krishna, 24 hours a day, the jiva cannot do unless they're Srimati Radhika's maidservant. Right? Because we cannot take up the post of Lalita, Saki, Vishaka Devi, Astasakis, Radhika's Kaya-view expansions. But as maidservants of Srimati Radhika, we can serve Krishna 24 hours a day. Why? Because even in the Nibrita Nikunj, which means the most confidential grove, sanctum sanctorum, then manjaris can always be fanning and serving. Even if they rest for half hour, 1 hour, it's there in that kunj. So we describe these 3 layers. There's the kunj, nikunj, and nibrita nikunj. Kunj means the general ashram, that everyone is welcome to come and visit. Nikunj means like the temple hall itself. And nibrita nikunj means behind the altar. Certain times of day, the curtains are closed. So people can be in the nikunj, different sakas, priyanarma sakas and sakis, but to go behind the curtain when Radha Krishna are resting or performing their midday pastimes or nighttime pastimes, no one can go. Only manjaris can be there. So 24 hours a day service to God means, right, when Krishna, it's described in the books of the sacred pastimes of Radha Krishna, sometimes Krishna leaves the cowherd boys and calves and goes and meets with Srimati Radhika at Radha Kund and performs their midday pastimes, which are very beautiful, very sweet. Different games, different play, the play of divine love and their interactions. At that time, the sakas aren't there. Krishna's cowherd friends aren't there. They're thinking of Krishna, meditating on Krishna, but 24 hours a day, directly serving, physically serving, right? Who is present? Even in some times, some circumstances, sakis will not be there, but manjaris can always be there. Why? They're very young, innocent, and Radha Krishna have no shyness with them because they don't think of themselves as separate. We have separated consciousness. So we think, I am this person, this is my life. But when you realize the highest state of divine loving rapture, in that realm, your consciousness is always flowing like a river to the ocean of the object of your love. How can I be with you and serve you? So the manjaris never have to experience separation in a way. They only experience the moods of Srimati Radhika's separation, and they feel her pain, so they feel the pain of separation, but they don't have to feel the pain of separation from her. So even though they're in separation, feeling her pain, still they get to be serving her in her association. And that sweetness of that ras means 24 hours a day you're engaged in service. Right? Not just Krishna Seva, but Krishna Anushilanam, Srimati Radhika's service. So therefore you can ask yourself, 24 hours a day serving God, what does it mean? After Mangalarti, Srimati Radhika goes to Javat, Krishna goes to Nandagram. Which direction do you choose? Right? We do Mangalarti, and then Radha Krishna wake up, and the gopis dress them, they have their little snack, and then Radharani's off to Javat, and Krishna's off to Nandagram. Which direction do you go? You're going to serve God 24 hours a day? So some will be there serving Krishna, but in our line, everyone's going, oh, let's go to Javat. And at Javat, then there you serve Srimati Radhika. And you remind her of Krishna. Everything you're doing in Archan is reminding Srimati Radhika of her relation with Krishna. Massaging, bathing, and the whole time speaking about Krishna Katha. Not directly also. Sometimes like cleaning the items, putting away things, and discussing pastimes of Krishna. Sweetly love Krishna. So at that time, this is Krishna Seva, because Krishna wants you to, when his beloved is in separation from him, who's going to remind her of him and ease her heart a little bit? Because when she's separated from Krishna, then you feel a lot of pain and separation. So if the manjaris are serving Srimati Radhika, reminding her of Krishna, that's Archan. Why? Speaking about Krishna. Not only that, Achman, Madhuparka, all these articles of Archan worship are all reminding Radharani of her meeting with Krishna. We see this in Katyani Vrats and so forth, how every little article of Archan reminds Srimati Radhika of her meeting with Krishna. So massage and all these things. Snan, Shringar, everything is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But every item of Srimati Radhika's, even her cloth, even her braid, her blouse, her ornaments, everything is a manifestation of one of her moods. And so therefore the decoration is decorating her with her own moods and ornaments of her love. So in that way, 24-hour engagement is possible. If you were to say, okay, no, let's not go to Javat, let's go to Nandagram. Then Krishna goes to his room and lays down, takes a nap. But you cannot enter his room without Mother Yashoda's permission. But if you're a servant of Srimati Radhika, when Srimati Radhika goes to her room, Manjaris can go. Why? Jatila Kutila have no doubt about the Manjaris. No one has doubt about 6, 7, 8-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids. Oh yes, Radharani's coming also with her little friends. There's no doubt, or hey, don't go in her room. Right? But Krishna, you want to go in his room without permission? Impossible. But that's why the Manjaris are described to be like there's Kaya view expansions of Srimati Radhika, but then the Nitya and Pran, the Thakis who are sadhakas achieving Siddhi and Vastu Siddhi, Swarup Siddhi, then Vastu Siddhi. At the time of Vastu Siddhi, when you actually take birth in Braj, Prakrit, manifest Vrindavan, because of the mood of one-pointed absorption, Anushilanam, real Krishna Anushilanam, which means like a stream of honey or ghee pouring liquid, not chunky, continuously flowing. That means your consciousness and absorption is constantly engaged in the object of your love. It cannot deviate. So this is real Krishna consciousness. This is like an uninterrupted stream of honey, Krishna consciousness. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati. How can we achieve that consciousness? Your own effort, your sadhana can never help you achieve that. Millions of lifetimes of hearing and chanting cannot help you achieve that. It'll help you, your own pious merits, right? But you need the association of someone who's on that platform. Hear from them. Like we say, oh, you can just hear from a tape or read from a book. No. Find that sadhu sangha, take that sadhu sangha, and hold on to the feet of that sadhu sangha. And hear and practice and hear and practice. And then their love, some rays of that beauty and that light. Why? Because of association. When they go into that state of trance, absorption, whatever they're doing in their daily life. Don't think Vaishnavas like in Vrindavan, Radhakunj Prabhuji is, oh, now he's cooking, now he's doing this. Why does he cook every evening now? Ever since we left Radhakunj to come to America, even every evening he started cooking. Before he was cooking morning, but now he's cooking every evening also. What time is he cooking? Same time Srimati Radhika is cooking. Because Srimati Radhika comes home from the midday pastimes, takes another snan, and then again cooks sweets for Krishna. And some special items, some savories. So evening time, Prabhupada doesn't cook a whole feast, a whole meal. He cooks some special stuff. Cooks some pakoras, some special sweets, some ladus, and everyone's so happy because they get to gather around. So you look at, even in this world, where's the most sweetness in bhakti? Wherever the maidservants of Srimati Radhika are serving, you want to be with them because it's sweet, it's joyful. And so it's like, oh, why isn't anyone making ladus when Prabhupada's not there? No. Everyone wants to be there with the Vaishnav, making ladus, and then Prabhupada makes the pakoras, and then also, after they serve Thakurji, what does he do? He sits out, and not even regular prasad time. He'll pass out. Like Gurudev would pass out cookies and sweets every class, Prabhupada would pass out cookies and sweets. What does Prabhuji do? He calls everyone who's helped make it all. He said, oh, we just made it all, now you're giving it to us? Oh, I gave it to Radharani and Krishna. After Krishna eats, then a little bit of the remnants are taken by the Nishta, who is on Krishna's side and Radharani's side, supportive of Jashoda Mata, and Jashoda Mata has no suspicion or anything, and she always takes some extra remnants of Krishna and very carefully preserves it and gives it in the hands of Rati Manjari or another Manjari, who takes it back to Javat, and then Radharani sits with all their Sakis and passes out prasad. And then they take together. So anything being done in a place like Radhe Kunj is not on the material realm of activities. You see this world, and you live in this world, But the world of Vrindavan is real for the Vaishnavas, and this world is a temporary manifestation. I'm telling you this from my own realization. For Vaishnavas, this world, we think it's everything all in all, and we're so absorbed in our activities here, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm going to do this, and then that. Oh, I'm so important. This world is just temporary. It lasts for a moment of a moment. Lord Brahma, by the time he blinks his eyes, we're dead. By the time Vishnu breathes out and in, the whole cosmic manifestation appears and winds up. Comes out and comes back in one breath of Lord Vishnu on the Karandakshite causal ocean. Breathing out Om, millions and trillions of universes appear, and breathing in, they all come within him. What is our speck of time here? So we are in a speck of time, we have so many important duties. Like an ant picking up grains. I'm so important. But for Vaishnavas, they're in that reality. That is important. That relationship is important. Serving and developing that relationship, that is important. Everything else is just time pass. But for us, what is our level? Many sadhakas came to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and said, go plant vegetables in the garden. No, we came here to meditate on Radha Krishna. No, I'm telling you, do this. So also it's very important not to, I'm Bhajananandi, I'll jump. What is your level? What is your adhikar? What is your instruction? But we're all Bhajananandis. That means Harinam is our ananda, our bliss. We should find the sweetness of chanting Harinam and relationship there, and then with our body and our energy serve. One time in Ekadashi, someone didn't want to serve. They wanted to sit and hide in the room. Vaishnava said, we have so many people coming. Serve. Serve with this body as a way to getting you your spiritual body so that you can know how to serve here and now. So 24 hours a day means you have to go into that direction, that line. So there's all these pastimes throughout the whole day. My point is that in ashram life, you can find a way that everything becomes related to absorption in Krishna Lila. Daytime, outward activities. Why? Krishna is going out. Why? 9 a.m. to 4:30, Krishna's out in the pasturing grounds. So devotees go out and they do bhiksha. They distribute books. Why? This is related to Krishna Lila. Right? Taking care of the jivas, the the senses, and the jivas, and collecting them and bringing them to Krishna. This is related to Krishna Lila. Everything in the spiritual life is designed so that it helps you become closer and more absorbed in Krishna Lila. So 24 hours a day absorption in service means you have to take shelter of this mood of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Then you can understand Gurvastakam. Then you can understand Shikshastakam. 8 verses of Gurvastakam connect to each 3-hour, sometimes a little bit more, midday is a little bit more, about 11:23 to 3:36, depends, adjusts a little bit, but basically about 4 hours. And then you have each period of the day. So Gurvastakam, each verse, all these things have some subtle internal connections. They're like a map, a guide map. Not always external. The external meaning and the internal meaning is not always exactly the same. But there's 2 types of sadhaka, jata rati and ajata rati. Those who have awakened rati, or attraction and service to the Lord, and those who are sadhakas, developing. But if you read Bhajan Rahasya, the secrets of practicing bhakti, then very quickly both stages can develop. And so in Shikshastakam, each verse is described to correspond. And also Gurvastakam Vaishnavas have described that. So this is just a very brief introduction. I'll just read 1 or 2 pages and then we'll stop. The wayward soul's home to God. Although immortal, he wears a uniform that appears to be a mortal body, so that he is approachable. The disciple will understand Sri Guru's truest form when he is in the eternal world with his own spiritual form. Then you can have real Guru Darshan. Although, know that Srila Gurudev is eternal, just as Krishna is eternal. During Srila Gurudev's manifest lifetime, all activities of bhakti went on without difficulty. His disappearance is a test to see if his disciples will remain following bhakti. So we are being tested. Many disciples think, alas, Srila Gurudev is gone forever. They thus become hopeless and are ready to commit spiritual suicide by jumping again into Maya. Such an attitude means they never had faith in the transcendental nature of Srila Gurudev to begin with. Did Srila Gurudev teach us this? Did he give up bhakti and jump into Maya after Param Gurudev entered Nitya Lila? One who preaches that Srila Gurudev is gone forever is an agent of Kali and will destroy himself as well as others. Srila Gurudev is looking on to see how his disciples continue. He will be happiest with those he sees following his footsteps and remaining engaged in bhajan, seva, harikatha, and kirtan. So don't think that, now I can just hide in a room and chant. No, that's not Guru Seva. That's your self-realization. But what about helping others? In the Kadashi book, I was going over this. There was a story of a sage who just wanted to meditate on God. And then God appeared to him and said, go help others. And he said, no, I want to meditate on you. I'll get lost in Maya if I go help others. He said, no, go help others. Prahlad Maharaj said, don't be selfish. So our ashram here is meant to do both things. Our mission statement here is to help people on their spiritual journey. Right? So that means you have to help somebody. And then also you have to learn how to help yourself. Learn how to swim, teach others how to swim. And maybe one day save someone who's drowning. Right? Sadhana bhakti, learn how to swim. Swim. And while you're swimming, if you see someone who's drowning, if you're capable, then help save them from drowning. That's why we go out. That's why I'm going out today. Yesterday we had a program singing this Kejabi song, talking about the mercy of Srila Swami Prabhupada. How he left Vrindavan to save the drowning souls in the ocean of material existence. And each temple became like a ship. And from that ship, many people, many search parties went out to find drowning souls. Why? Because one big ship can't maneuver so swiftly and go everywhere. So you have one big ship, each city a ship. And then many little, or village, ashram. But then from here, we have search parties. Search and rescue. Saad. Search and rescue missions. That's what we're going out on today. You ready? Search and rescue mission. Saad. What is the essence? What is the Saad? Search and rescue. Each temple is a ship. It's not performing its function unless souls are boarding the ship and then being transported to the spiritual world. That's the purpose of this temple. Embassy, branch, bridge to Vrindavan. Spiritual bridge. So therefore we have some services to Gurudev. And we maintain and establish our connection and maintain that connection. And then with our life force and energy, we have a body, so we should use it. So we use it for something useful, which is be part of that search and rescue. So I'll continue reading. As parents desire for their children to grow up, to be educated and prosperous, Sri Guru wants his disciples to become qualified and successful in bhakti. So we must increase our efforts in every respect, and we shall then receive Srila Gurudev's profuse blessings. Srila Gurudev is our eternal master. Don't think all is lost. Have hope. Maintain your faith and enthusiasm. Everything should continue with the conviction that Srila Gurudev is present everywhere. Never be hopeless, whatever the circumstances are. Whether you are worried that you are young and full of lust, or that you are weak and unenthusiastic, still don't become hopeless. We must follow the activities of bhakti even in our old age when we have a hunched back and pain all over our bodies. Actually, there is only one true pain, the pain of having no real friend. So make friendship with Srila Gurudev and Krishna. You will then realize the sweetness of that relationship and will deem your life successful. There are no real friends in this world, so don't divide your love and yourself. Reserve your body and energy for the service of Sri Guru and Krishna. Srila Gurudev preached the glories of Braj, the Brajabasis and Brajadevis all over the world. By this, thousands and thousands of people became inspired to attain Braja Bhakti. Gurudev gave transcendental nectar and pulled people from all over the world to Brajamandal. He never told them to make a palace in the west and dig their grave there. Gurudev always wandered through Braj Mandal and called all the devotees every year to Braj Mandala Parikrama. On the order of his Guru Maharaj and the request of Vaishnavas, Srila Gurudev published translations and commentaries on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran, Brihad Bhagavatamrita Kana, Madhurya Kadambini, and other books of the Goswamis. Wherever Srila Gurudev was and within whatever he wrote, he glorified and distributed Brajaras. Therefore, the Brajabasis called him a Rasik Acharya. Srila Gurudev spoke on so many spiritual subject matters, but he always concluded with the glories of the Brajadevis. This is his speciality. The wealth of Srila Gurudev's love will continue to spread and increase in this world. So I'll just read one more paragraph here to show how the connection is there between the activities of Guru that we see and the internal relationship and internal reality, and how we can approach that. So we can understand how we can also serve with our bodies and our senses and our mind, and gradually also achieve that elevated position of internal activity. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahi. That is our aspiration. Swarup Darshan. Whatever has been revealed in the Sri Guru Darshan series to this point has manifested by Srila Gurudev's mercy as a result of constant remembrance of his lotus feet. So that remembrance of his lotus feet is what? Serving his Harikatha. That's why Sri Guru Darshan is a book that is being written now. Every volume of his Harikatha being published as part of Sri Guru Darshan. Right? Guru Vani Mandir. We're establishing the temple of the divine teachings to establish a relationship of the jivas with Srila Gurudev. Therefore, how many volumes will this be? 300 volumes is what we expect. 300 volumes of Srila Gurudev's Harikatha. That's what we expect. By the end of 2023, we expect to have published 80 books. Since living in Vrindavan, to the point of coming to the West, we published 25 books. And since establishing our center in New York, we published 10 that had already been transcribed, that they needed a lot of finishing. Layout, proofreading, design, and so forth. We published those 10 books, so 35. And since that time now, we're on volume 41, so we did another 31. And now we're doing Hindi to English, which will be another 8. And then other publications. Why? Now we're publishing an Ekadashi book. It's called Ekadashi Swarup Darshan. How to realize the Swarup of Ekadashi. Not Karma Kanda Ekadashi, the internal Braj Bhakti mood of Ekadashi Devi, her eternal Swarup. Also, our devotees, our sevaks, sevikas, sadhikas, they are preparing Chaitanya Bhagavat, commentaries of the Vaishnavas. This will be 7 volumes. And this year we'll also publish Shri Ras Panchadhyayi, the 5 chapters of Sri Krishna's Ras, in a few volumes. So we expect to have published 80 volumes of Transcendental Harikatha by the end of this year. And that means 55 since coming to New York. But we haven't started yet. Why? Because Vaishnavas gave the instruction, you should distribute this message. Don't just put this message in Samadhi. We are establishing, right? Ground base, Air Force, Navy, Srimati Radhika's messengers, Sri Krishna's messengers, Mahaprabhu's messengers. They'll go out from here and help people realize the nature of their soul, the purpose of their soul in relationship with the absolute truth, and how to develop that connection and come into this beautiful line of Srimati Radhika's maidservants. Therefore, we are also offering this simple plea and request to our Gaudiya Vaishnava brothers and sisters throughout the world in many different sanghas. We are all aspiring to serve you by serving the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as it is. What is the innermost heart's desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Prem ras niryas kurite swadan rag marga bhakti loke kurite pracharan. How to preach this path of attraction and love and bring people into the path of regulation so that together they can go forward into Braja Bhakti. So we are not here to lay down and die. With every breath, with every fiber of our being and our energy, we think, how can I serve and please Guru Pad Padma? Without pleasing Guru Padma, we can never attain entrance into that realm of divine loving service. Therefore, Shri Guru Charanirati Ese Uttamagati. We are here, our mission is to establish the principle of Guru Tattva, the importance of Guru Tattva, devotion for Guru as the backbone of bhakti. And through that, then we can understand Krishna, Srimati Radhika, Mahaprabhu, the Dham, all your tattvas, sadhan, bhakti, prem, ras, everything. But without Guru Bhakti, our spiritual life is a joke. A joke we play on ourselves. We are the butt of the joke. Right? So therefore our mission is to establish Guru Nishta is the backbone of bhakti. Our Guru Padma is eternal. And we will serve Guru Padma and endeavor to please Guru Padma however he likes, however he intends, however he instructs, however he desires. Now, what I will describe is Srila Gurudev's direct Samadhi Bhashya, as he spoke it to me on Vrindavan Parikrama this morning. When was that? 14 February 2015. He came back from his morning Govardhan Parikrama and Vrindavan Parikrama, and then he was doing Vrindavan Parikrama. But around those times, every day, this is the Vaishnavas. Who is our living example of how to serve Guru? It's Prabhuji. Why? His name was Sevaratna, given by Gurudev, the jewel of loving service. So he's always serving with his body, mind, and soul. Tan, man, vachan, and atma. Atmagata seva. So I mentioned this in our class yesterday to our audience. When I saw the service increase, physical service increase, that means spiritual engagement increased. During Navadvip Parikrama, when we would be serving from 6 a.m. approximately to about 10 p.m. Why? Cleaning, cutting, cooking, serving, giving medicine, administering to all the pilgrims and the cooks. 15, 20,000 pilgrims. Not just the pilgrims who came, but every day would open the gates and all the villagers, anyone could come take prasadam. People would fight with Prabhuji. No, don't let them do it. Hey, only the people who came and they paid tickets to be here and they gave 100 rupees. Prabhuji said, no, I'm arranging the boat. I'm paying for everything. If there's extra expense, I will do it. Open the gates. And he told the story of Param Gurudev, who Param Gurudev would say, always make extra prasadam so that any guest who comes, at least 40, 50 people, is always enough for them. And Param Gurudev would wait outside in the afternoon, sit on the balcony, chant Harinam, and watch them serve just random guests. That is their spirit. So in Navadvip Parikrama, I would personally see we were living in a mosquito-infested shack. Right? Wherever the Vaishnavas go, by Kriya Shakti, it manifests into a beautiful place. So Prabhuji is here. That's why this place is manifesting to a beautiful place. From a broken down building to a temple. From a broken down house to a beautiful residence for sevakas and students of spiritual life. So we were living, right? Wherever we went, we were managing Kartik Parikramas, Navadvip Parikrama, Gopinath Bhavan. We stayed in no windows, no sink, open doors. All the kitchen smoke would come in. Why? Because the sevaks, right, by those who think I am Guru, I am Acharya, they don't understand I am eternal Das of Guru. Oh, important people get nice rooms, and sevaks get slave quarters. Right? So I saw this in my life. Where's the quarters for the sevaks? Slave quarters. You get to stay above the kitchen, where all the smoke goes, and you can have 10 people in one room with no windows, no sink and no water, and this is your room for the Vaishnavas. Understand this? You think you'll get mercy of Radharani by this activity? Never in a million lifetimes. A million lifetimes Radharani won't show you her mercy. So you treat the Vaishnavas like slaves and servants, but you treat slaves with more love. Because even a slave, you want to take care of them to make sure they're okay and healthy so they can continue serving. Treat Vaishnavas worse than slaves. And those Vaishnavas who are also maintaining everything, paying for everything, doing everything, maintaining all Gurudev's temples, and you treat them like that. And as soon as you wring out every last drop of energy, you throw them out. And you think, I'm doing bhakti. Oh, I'm going on parikrama. I'm being glorified and worshipped. So we're not criticizing anyone, but we're speaking about reality. I am here not to hide in the shadows. I'm here as a disciple of my Gurudev aspiring sadhaka, aspiring servant of my Gurudev, to tell what is truth and what is deceit, and try to reside and live in truth. I'm telling you, with the Vaishnavas, we lived in a mosquito-infested building, no proper doors or windows in Navadvip also. Why? It's not enough to feed 20,000 people and do all the work. You also don't get a room. That's why do you think I don't have a room? Because I'm remembering my Acharya and trying to serve, right? Christians, they have a beautiful book called How to Follow the Life of Christ. How to serve in a way that is righteous in the service of God, not being an enjoyer, taking everything from everyone, consuming everything. And then anyone who's doing service, squeeze out the last drop so you can enjoy comfortably in the meantime. That's not our life. Our life is a life of service, praying to achieve eternal relationship and eternal grace. So I saw with the Vaishnavas, from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., they would chant Harinam. Then from 4 a.m. to 5, we would go to the Ganga, walk 10-15 minutes, chant prayers, offer arati, take snan, come back, speak a little half an hour Harikatha, and then from about 6 a.m. till about 2, 3, 4 p.m., serve, take care of everyone, cook, maintain, distribute prasadam, pay for everything, maintain everything, and then half hour, go back, little Harikatha again. Why? 2 times a day, must have Harikatha. And then again, back in the kitchen. And the evening time, all the workers who are cooking, why? These big pots, cooking for 20,000 people is not easy. So you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're maintaining, and then all the workers giving medicine, taking care of them with love. Then 10 p.m., come home, take a little dinner, take rest, and then I would sleep out the outer room, but before the gate, so I would hear door opens, and I could see out in the courtyard, Vaishnavas walking. You understand what is bhakti? This is bhakti. Love for Guru and service. The more your service increases, the more your bhajan increases. The less your service, that means the less love you have. Service is love. So if your service increases, it means your love increases. And the mercy you receive increases. Otherwise, you just stay in Maya. Millions of lifetimes we've been in the pit of Maya. Millions of more lifetimes we'll stay in the pit of Maya. As an enjoyer, demons. Trying to use everyone for our service. But I'm very fortunate only to have seen real Vaishnavas in my life. That's my good fortune. I'm not qualified, but I have something to look at. I have something to see. Arundhati Nai is the logic of looking at the stars. Arundhati Nai. Look at that. Look at the North Pole. Look at the character of a pure Vaishnava. To that Vaishnav, then the wealth of Guru enters their heart. That wealth enters their heart. Why? Because it's their eternal property. Because everything is given to such person. You want to criticize? Be very careful. Fools rush in, while angels fear to tread. You think, I am Gurudev's near and dear one, and I can criticize all his other ones. And I am the one. I am the one and only. Everyone else is bogus. Have you realized your swarup in the service of Radharani? Will you realize that in 1,000,000 lifetimes? Not with that mentality. So we're not going to read all this. This is not to read openly, but this is written. And I remember Prabhuji came back from Vrindavan Parikrama. Why? Because in Vrindavan, every day, sometimes we'd go, when Gurudev was sick, for 1 year continuously, we went Govardhan Parikrama. When? Leaving 2 a.m. by car, one little tiny car like our little Camry, but smaller actually. Stick shift, smaller car, and we'd have like 3-4 brahmacharis in the front. Sometimes we'd go to Parikrama and we'd have big Abhiram in the main seat in the front, and then I would go sit in front of Abhiram, and I would fold my legs under and put my knees under the dashboard, and then sit there with my head on the dashboard. Why? And you couldn't move an inch. And when you get to Govardhan, it takes about 10 minutes for your legs to wake up. And in the back seat, 4 or 5 brahmacharis. Every day Govardhan Parikrama. Not only that, Giriraj Abhishek. Giriraj worship, love and affection. And what do we pray to Giriraj? When the Brajavasis go, they only pray for Krishna's good health. Vaishnavas go, only pray for Gurudev's good health. Right? This is love and relationship. The Vaishnavas were also going on Vrindavan Parikrama every day. When we were going to Govardhan, sometimes it'd be rainy, monsoon, foot of water on the path. Vaishnavas were sick, never missed a day. People say, why are you going? You're sick. You should rest. He said, rest is punishment. Parikrama is my rest. I work hard all day. I can't go see my friend Giriraj at least once. I can't see my friend. When Gurudev was in his sickness pastimes in Govardhan, Vaishnavas would go every day on Parikrama and try to go see Gurudev. But Jai Vijay would say, no. Who are you? Where did you come from? Vaishnavas are very humble. They don't say, oh, I've been with Gurudev since I was a little boy. I've been serving in the mutt for 40 years. You don't know me because you came yesterday. Vaishnavas are very humble, so they wouldn't disturb. Sometimes, oh, Gurudev is sick. Right? When Srimati Radhika, Manjaris always have access. You can say, Rupa Manjari, you can't enter the Kunj. Radharani is laying and she's not feeling so well. You can tell Manjaris not to go and serve Srimati Radhika. Oh, Rupa Manjari, oh, Rati Manjari, don't serve Radharani. She's laying on the flower bed. She's waiting for her Manjaris to come and be with her. And you want to deny them access. Big guards. Why? Guru's my property. I'll put him in a cage and control him, and he's mine. I won't let anyone come and see him. But sometimes the Gurudev would call himself. Come and see me, I want to speak with you. And there's a few occasions, someone recording, where Gurudev would talk to Prabhuji. He'd talk to him. Not giving you anything external, giving you everything internal. That's why in Gurudev's will he writes all his personal things, not his temples and this and that. Personal items, that is for you. But even that was not given. You understand? Gurudev's will, it says, all my little personal things, but even not one sock is given. This is called disciple. You want to jump on the head of Rupa Manjari and put her in samadhi and say, I will be Gurudev's near and dearest. Right? In the rasa dance, gopis neglected Radharani, didn't understand her position. Disciples, they neglect Guru Sevak. Think, I know Gurudev since 1994. I know Gurudev since 1988. I know Gurudev since 1996. I know Gurudev since 1979, 1972. Who is Gurudev's eternal relative? Are you that? Do you realize that? Are you established in that? Be very careful how you treat Vaishnavas. So, all the wealth of Gurudev's bhajan, says, this is yours. And then the final meeting, he said, I'm giving you responsibility. Why? Vaishnavas told me, let's go. Too much people doing torture and tormenting us. Find 1-2 brahmacharis and we'll offer pranam and go Haribol. No need. Where will we go? Who will ever know where we went? No one. Oh, where are you? I don't have phone and email. That's why I talk about it sometimes now. I lived in the temple for 15 years. When do I use a phone and email? I don't have a phone. I don't have money for a phone. Email once a month and nobody writes because you don't have a relation with anyone in this world. So you don't have to check your email to find anything anyway. Who's going to write to you when you don't have relation with anyone? You only have relation to Guru and Vaishnavas. There's no email to check. But Gurudev said, don't go. Gurudev knew the heart. Gurudev came out, last day of Govardhan, November 21st, pretty sure. It's on YouTube. He said, oh, my dear Premanand has done everything. Last name he mentioned, no other name. It's not to say he's better than anyone. Everyone is great. But do you think you'll get Radharani's mercy and neglect her associates and her servitors? How are you going to realize your eternal Swarup in Seva while having that kind of nature? So this is not a criticism of anyone. This is to help us understand how to be real disciples. If we're aspiring for Radha Dasyan, the maid servant of Srimati Radhika, how can we do that without understanding her Nitya and Pran Sakhis, her Sadhan Siddhas and Nitya Siddha associates? Who is Siddha and who is Bada? Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, Falgur yukta badar mukta. Never be so foolish to think a conditioned soul is a liberated soul and a liberated soul is a conditioned soul. Understand the difference. And Rupa Goswami says, when someone has bhav bhakti, you cannot understand their behavior. You cannot understand them. Vaishnavere kriya mudra vijnana. This is the end of Jaiva Dharma. He describes this verse with Rupa Goswami. You cannot understand the bhav bhaktas. You can't. By your material mind, your contaminated mind, you cannot understand them. Therefore, do not criticize. What is their love and what is their nature and relationship? So I'll read one paragraph and then we'll stop. Srila Gurudev would daily go on a morning walk, whether in the winter or the summer, in India or the West. Once someone asked him, why do you always go on a morning walk? Srila Gurudev smiled but did not respond. Later, Gurudev told me, these people do not understand why I go on a morning walk. I wake at 2:30 or 3 a.m. and prepare to serve in Nishanta Lila, Radha Krishna's pastimes at the end of the night. During Nishanta Lila, I rearrange Srimati Radhika's misplaced Sringar. I wipe her form with a damp cloth, redress her, give her a garland, decorate her feet with alta, anoint her with tilaka, and carefully hide the marks of her love play with Krishna in the Kunj. After Mangala Arati, Gurudev goes to Nanda Bhavan and Radhika to Javat. So that's why after Mangala Arati, Gurudev goes on his morning walk. I walk with Srimati Radhika to Javat, along with the Sakhis and Manjaris, and once there, I serve Radhika with various paraphernalia as she prepares to depart for Nanda Bhavan to cook. Srila Gurudev continued. So in this way, there's so many descriptions. All of Gurudev's pastimes and how it's connected to Krishna Lila. So therefore, then this verse comes, Seva kunje braje damye govardhane giro sada radha kunde rasanande tat tat seva pradayakam. Haribo. So there's so many things to read and discuss here. There are many examples given here how the Vaishnav's internal position is connected to their external relation. Right? As the end of the third volume, which was the original end of the book, Vaishnavas quote a verse. It's the same verse that Mahaprabhu quoted for our sadhana bhakti about Parakiya Bhav. And the speciality of Parakiya Ras in this world. We're not going to read this whole thing. But he gives this verse, Paravyasini nari vyagrani vyagrapi kriha karmasu tad evashva dayatyantar navasangarashayanam madhya 1, 2, 12. The devotee should remember his relationship with God like a wife who works hard to please the relatives at home. So they do not suspect her of any bad behavior. Right? So we're doing our duties in this world, serving Gurudev, but in our heart, what are we thinking of? What are we doing? Remembering Krishna, remembering Srimati Radhika, and praying for our service there. When there is an intense desire to serve and love Krishna and to always be with him, and one prays always thus for his mercy, then Krishna accepts that devoted soul as his beloved and offers her to Srimati Radhika to serve him under her guidance. This is Srila Gurudev's essential teaching.